This review coming at you may be one of the most controversial reviews I've ever done. That's not true, I'm just drunk. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to take a look at this custom Magneto on Throne statue. Now if you hear the words Magneto on Throne and you're like, you know what, that's been done in statue form before, you're right. Check out XM Studios, who kind of paved the way for Magneto on Throne or Throne statues in general. This amazing piece that I used to own right here. Then custom makers started to get into it. So the first was another Sentinel throne right here that I actually had the chance to review. Grandpa Jerry let me put it on the table even though it was broke. And believe it or not, I have this custom on order as well. Now I teased you guys, there's an interesting story about this one. So this one is from a group that puts out what a lot of people would call grails. And they announced, hey, we're going to do a Magneto on Throne, and you need to put your money down now. No other information. So I did, and here he is. Now, with that being said, when I saw the renders and everything done by him, I wasn't feeling it that much. However, now that he's assembled, I really like him. However, during assembly, I hated him. It's seriously like a roller coaster ride with this statue. And I'm betting it's going to be an even bigger roller coaster ride when I attempt to move him. So officially, this is a custom quarter scale Magneto on Throne. Quarter scale, 4 times smaller than a real life version, which is what all of my X-Men pieces behind me are. Custom, private unlicensed commission, they just made a small run. Marvel, who owns the rights, or Disney I guess now, who owns the rights to Magneto, didn't approve of this piece. But I'm not sure if I approve or not. There's some things I really, really love about this piece that I loved a lot more than I thought I would. And there's some peens. I really am drunk. That's what happens when you get stuck, airline delays, in a club, and then on first class. I'm drunk as fuck right now, to be honest with you. But I'm still going to do a good review on this for you guys, because this does have its merits. I absolutely think it does. But the real question is, am I going to keep this, or am I going to keep that Sentinel Magneto throne that's coming in? I honestly don't know. But overall, I can tell you this is definitely a lot more pleasing than I thought it would be.
That's what she said.
So let's start the extreme review, starting with concept. And what I really like about this is, all the other Magneto on Thrones were Magneto making a Sentinel throne, which is cool without a doubt. But they did something different here. They took Magneto and he has created a throne, a rock base, but on that rock base you have tons of Easter eggs, most of them relating to the X-Men. So you see a few parts here and there of the X-Men jet, and that's what most of the throne is actually made out of. And as you move up, you'll see a tire, you'll see a booster, you'll see wires, you'll see different things from the X-Men mansion as well, which I think is pretty cool. And it is raised considerably. This is a very highly elevated statue as far as height, which we'll look at in a second. But on the top here, you also see a few trophies of fallen X-Men. You see Jubilee's visors, you see Cyclops' visors. I kind of wish they added, maybe Wolverine's claws or his arm or something of that nature. You see Cerebro. So I do think that it's cool. They show that he has destroyed the X-Men. He went into the X-Men mansion. He blew them up, he created a throne out of the pieces, and he's sitting there very majestic. So I think this is an awesome concept. When I ordered it, I didn't know what the concept would be other than Magneto on Throne, but of course he has fallen enemies. It's made out of the remains of the X-Men. I think it's a 5 out of 5 on concept. Really impressive, shows his power, shows Magneto. Fantastic job. Where this piece really fails is in design for a few different reasons. Now, before I talk about those reasons, and there's also a few good things on design, I want you to look at the high-speed assembly with me and my son, because we needed 2 of us, and I'll tell you why in a second, but check that out. 2 different boxes that arrive days apart. That always mystifies me. They ship at the same time, yet they arrive days apart. It's pretty common. Not really an art box, but one of the boxes did have Magneto on Throne on the top. Standard custom black foam with these straps. And there were a ton of pieces, 2 layers to each box. And I've said this before, I actually use these pictures in case I ever need to box it up. I find it very handy. And here is the last box with the base. So tons of pieces.
Previously on X-Men.
Okay, so they did release a video of the assembly. The video was god-awful. You could see where they were inputting things for the most part, but half the time the guy putting this together figured out he put the wrong thing in the wrong slot.
That's what she said.
And then corrected it. So it's like he didn't even know how to put it together. And I still have extra pieces they didn't show how to put together in the video. Huge miss, huge assembly issue. Some of the stuff is keyed in from the bottom. So when I move this to my throne wall, undoubtedly things will fall apart. There was probably over a dozen pieces that are keyed in from the bottom. I am very afraid this is going to fall apart. So a lot of negative points for that. Another huge negative point. Look at his right foot. It's almost an inch above just floating. That is stupid and ridiculous. Now, it does have some switch out features that I do like. Let's look at those. First is the mass portrait where he's gritting his teeth, and I think this fits the statue well. Another one where he's more solemn, but I still think it fits the statue. And by the way, there are light up features on one of these, but I never put in batteries. And the last is an unmasked portrait. Now, if you're doing the unmasked portrait, you can actually have him semi-levitating his helmet, similar to what XM Studios and everybody else has done. But they do have him levitating Cerebro as another option as well. You can see right here. Or you can just have his hand up saying, hey, can I get some? So there are some decent switch out options. I like that. But this foot just floating and not setting on the step below is really, really stupid. The assembly was really, really stupid. While I haven't moved it yet, and I know it's hard to prejudge, I guarantee when I move it, pieces will fall out. I'm probably going to have to disassemble him and then reassemble him, which was incredibly difficult. So I give the design a 2 out of 5. I think it's horrible. Now, did they do good on the paint and sculpt? You know, this is one I teased recently in a video about Franco Carlissimo. You can check the video out right here. So he did sculpt this, and he's very good at Magneto. He's done a number of them. So clearly, this is probably a pretty good sculpt, but let's dive in close with video to check it out. Again, I semi-apologize for my inebriated state, but man, it feels good. So let's start at the base. You know what's crazy about this piece is they did so many different colors, and the paint is really clean. You don't see a lot of bleed over from the different, you know, from the Xavier School for the Gifted to some of the parts from the X-Jet, the tire there. They did a really great job on the paint throughout, even adding shading where they needed to on Magneto's uniform. And they didn't go overboard. It is pretty dark on the sides there, the abdominal areas, but that's pretty typical for a Magneto statue. but there's clear definition in the base. So it's this rock mud-like structure where you can see the pieces of the jet and other pieces of the X-Mansion kind of embedded in there, but you can still see the dirt below. I really like the contrast to that. There's a little bit of a booster from the jet, some torn pieces, and they didn't make it too metallic, which I like as well. You do see some rebar there and a lot of wires that were assumably with the jet. I like how they colored them. Some are black, then you have the red and yellow as well. Again, really clean paint on this. And the jet itself is kind of this gray-blue color, which looks really good in my opinion. And it's also very weathered and scratched up, whether that's from the natural use of the jet or Magneto disassembling it to make his throne is yet to be said. However, that is pretty cool in my opinion, and I really like the use of that throughout. So they went to town, Franco especially, on the base here. I think he did a fantastic job just sculpting even the tiny intricacies here that you wouldn't see. It almost looks like Wolverine claws right there, which who knows why he'd be destroying it. The propulsion or engine back here, some venting, again a lot of scratches. You see the X symbol throughout. Pretty cool in my opinion. There's almost like some miniature wings. These clearly weren't the full wings because they would be much bigger, but maybe some flaps or something of that nature. Cyclops' helmet, again, very damaged. You'll see that throughout the entire base, which I think suits the statue really well. But it takes a lot to go in with the intricacy of the sculpt and paint to do that. Now, looking at Magneto, one of the things that's really cool about Magneto is whenever you have a Magneto statue, almost all the Magneto statues I've had, I can't stop saying Magneto, are over-muscularized, which is weird because he is an older dude. However, this is probably one of the least muscularized Magnetos I've seen, although he still has a six-pack. He still has quads that could, make me jealous, and biceps and triceps that are that of a bodybuilder. And the paint really accentuates that with the dark shading where the muscular lines are, but few folds and creases in his suit that you typically see. His suit appears to have a shine on camera. It does not in person. So there is a little bit of a shine on his helmet, which I like. It's not too much or too little, but I think they did a really nice job with the portraits. Not the best Magneto portraits I've seen, but good for sure. He always has those bushy eyebrows. I mean, look at the intricate detail on the teeth there. That's pretty good. I'm glad they didn't make them too white, which my favorite Magneto statue right back there, they are pretty white, which was also done by Franco as well. It wasn't factory paint. I like the whited out eyes to kind of give him, the utilization of his power effect. I like how the collar is more of a metallic than the flow that you see on his cape, the more matte purple that you see throughout. So I think they did a really nice job on paint and sculpt in this. I am impressed, especially for factory. It's clearly not as good as a professional regarding the paint, but overall, very nicely done. Starting with the sculpt, again, I think it's very good. I don't think it's his best Magneto, but I do give it a 4 out of 5. I like how, like I said, how he didn't over-muscularize him. The paint, also so many different paint colors. It is impressive what they did because it still looks really good together. So that's also a 4 out of 5 in my opinion. Now the real question is, was he worth it? So all in, shipped to the United States, he was about $1,850, $1,900. Which XM Studios, which is about 1/3 the size of this, if not smaller, goes for about the same price nowadays. I remember when it went for $3,000. And they made 1,000 or 999 of the XM Studios. They only made 65 of these. So I think that's very, very strong. I think this is a decent value. I think I could get my money back if I tried to sell them despite the design issues. Now, given the current statue market, which you guys know isn't the best right now, I think that hurts it a little bit. So because of the current economy, I think it's a 3 out of 5 on value. You could get your money back, but that's about it. Now, does he have the X factor? Other than the shitty design stuff, I am really happy with him. I'm a lot more happy than I thought I would be. And it's not just because I, am drunk right now. That's like a Tuesday for me. But they did a really nice job. He looks really good. He has a lot of presence because of the height. He has height presence and width presence. He's fucking big. But I give him a 4 out of 5 overall. I really do like him. I like the fact that it's different. It's not a Sentinel, but it shows Magneto's powers. Magneto is one of the coolest mutants out there, without a doubt, in the Marvel Universe. What do you think? Do you think he's one of the best Magneto on Throne statues? Throw that down in the comments below. I'd love to read your guys' opinion when I'm sober. And you could win a statue. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. All right, day I'm filming this, college football starts, so I don't need to drink anymore, but I'm going to go watch that. But if you could give me a like, because I'm pretty sure my team's going to lose.